Hi everyone, hope you're all enjoying GatsbyCon so far. Thank you for taking the time to attend my talk on scaling the property ladder with Gatsby V4. My name is Ash Hitchock and I'm a front-end developer from the south coast of the UK, and I've been developing websites for almost 20 years. I maintain an open source project that brings Yoast SEO data into WP GraphQL for WordPress, and a little companion plugin that makes it easy to consume this data straight into your Gatsby project. For the last 10 years, I've also been working at Fresh Egg, a digital marketing agency that's driven by customer experience that was founded in the year 2000, and we've had the absolute pleasure of working with some amazing brands from around the world in that time, offering a range of services including creative design, web development, CRO, analytics, to content and SEO. Today, I'm going to give you a talk on how we're using Gatsby, and specifically Gatsby V4, to disrupt the property industry for one of London's leading property groups, setting a new standard for site performance and user experience. Before we get into the new, just a little history of where we've come from, just to set the stage for this exciting new rebuild. In 2014, after extensive audience research, we designed and built KFH New Website, which is a site that you'll currently see live today. The site has not stood still and has been under active development ever since its launch, with many iterations. It's a .NET monolith built on our in-house CMS and development platform, with a heavy use of JavaScript and even jQuery on the front end. It currently stands at around 100,000 pages, including all the guides and property listings and property details. As you can probably imagine, there's a lot of moving parts for a site of this size. Properties for sale coming in from one system, properties for rent from another, area information from another. Actually, most of the services you'll see on this side come from different providers, and it all feeds into a central .NET application with a complex load-balanced server setup. After 8 years, it was now time to look at the next 8 years and beyond, and start looking into a rebuild. We've had a number of key goals that we wanted to deliver on during this rebuild, and when choosing the new technologies and platforms required. A lot has changed since we built the site in 2014, and with site speed and user experience being used as part of Google's ranking factors, and with the rollout of Core Web Vitals, we knew we needed this to be a primary goal of the site. We undertook a full content audit, and working with the content and SEO teams, we've removed unnecessary sections of the site, and in turn reducing the crawl budget to ensure Google and other search engines will regularly revisit important sections of the site. Next up was scalability and stability. With the current site being a more traditional server-rendered site, every page request requires a server resource to return the data. This means as the traffic increases, so does the load on the server. And as previously mentioned, this means the site has to be load balanced between multiple servers and maintained and upgraded as required. Deployments also require manual work, and the front end and back end has to be deployed together. Added to the fact that if the back end goes down or if a deploy fails, the site would also go down. We wanted to make sure this was not the case for the new site, and making sure we had autonomic deploys available. It only takes a couple of minutes for a malicious attacker to run automated scripts and tools on your site that can discover any vulnerabilities and then exploit them straight away. We wanted to make sure the new site was as secure as possible, with the content editing experience and data separated away from the front end of the website, and as little moving parts as possible exposed to the end user. Last but not least was developer experience. We feel this is very important. Happy devs, after all, equals better websites. We wanted to architect the new site so both front end and back end can both work efficiently and effectively with the same end goals. For us, this means as front end developers, we can build components from the creative design and work directly with data without the need of constant back end support. And back end developers can focus on the data layer and business logic and not have to worry about integrating into HTML views. So with all this in mind, we set to work at architecting a new solution, and the creative team set to work on a great new design. The creatives were redesigned from the ground up to better represent the brand and simplify the user journey, taking all the learnings from the current site and backed by data and further user research, and importantly, all designed into a componentized design system that makes a more maintainable and future-proof site. Moving from a monolith to a decoupled architecture and going headless not only enables the great developer experience we wanted, but also further future-proofs the site for years to come. Having this new single source of truth for the data layer will allow the data to be used in new and exciting ways going forward. Being a .NET dev house, we decided on the open source solution for the CMS, Umbraco. This was then converted to run headless with its own API. One of the core reasons for choosing this CMS was its ability to compose pages in a componentized way. Users can create the flexible and creative pages, but also in a structured way so we can interpret them into the components on the front end of the website. The obvious choice for the front end was Gatsby, meeting many of our core goals and objectives, with performance and accessibility baked right in from the static rendering of pages to the magic little extras like Gatsby Image to automatically optimize image delivery and Gatsby Link to prefetch internal pages when links enter the viewport. It really stands up to the 2 millisecond page load being the new 2 seconds. We decided to use the GraphQL toolkit, a set of tools that are made available from Gatsby, for building our own source plugin to integrate our .NET GraphQL API into Gatsby so much easier. This also enabled us to take advantage of features such as incremental builds and previews. We have been absolutely blown away by the support and generosity with the time given by the Gatsby core team, with various jam sessions to overcome any challenges we have had along the way. By creating our own GraphQL API, it has allowed us to pull various third-party APIs, including the CMS, location, and property data into one standardized layer that is also cached by Elasticsearch for that little extra performance. On most Gatsby builds, we would just look to do this in the Gatsby data layer and using source plugins to avoid the need for creating our own GraphQL API. However, a site at this scale needs to query the GraphQL layer at runtime to allow searching and filtering. This leads on to the glue that binds the creative design and the front-end Gatsby site. By using Storybook, we've been able to document a new design system in a living component library that integrates straight into Gatsby. It also allows us to give the benefit of accessibility testing baked right in, so we can ensure the website is enjoyed by as many people as possible. We also built a component which we call the component renderer. This takes all these UI components and combines them with the data from the GraphQL queries matched by type name. Building sites at this scale in any technology comes with challenges, but here's a few ways we overcome them with Gatsby. Data first is an approach we coined by bringing forward the time at which we could start coding a new site without the creative designs being signed off. By utilising wireframes, we were able to write all our Gatsby node functions, build up templates, and even write GraphQL queries ahead of time. We did this by building a little helper component that lives in the base layout, which allows us to preview and debug data. Deferred static generation allows us to offload the building of certain pages until they're first requested. Gatsby makes this easy and simple with a simple configuration on the create page function. By opting into DSG, we're able to cut our build time down dramatically. We've been doing this for low priority pages, for example sold or let properties, and also on some of the deeper paginated pages. We are also looking at Google Analytics data to get a deeper understanding of the user flows to see where else we could utilize this feature. SSR, or server-side rendering. For search results, we needed to hit our GraphQL layer to get the latest property results. Traditionally, this would require a loader and some layout shift. However, with SSR, we can load the initial results server-side and prevent this. After the first page load, everything is back in the client. We all know that a lot of Gatsby speed comes from its static generation of pages. However, this comes at the upfront cost of the build process. Building such a site at this scale, the largest part of the build process is the query running. Parallel query running enables page and static queries to occur at the same time in workers, therefore reducing the build time. Also, building a site at this scale, we also found the following small wins really help make a big difference to both developer experience and performance of the site. TypeScript not only helps us firm up our code, it also comes with the added benefit of giving us really good auto-completion, further enhancing that user experience mentioned, especially when it's linked with the types automatically generated from GraphQL CodeGen, meaning that we get auto-completion from our GraphQL template queries. As a project grows, the bundle size can get away from you. Utilising the bundle size analyzer, it makes light work at spotting any bloat that might appear. We also use loadable components to make sure we're only loading the components we need on each page. Thank you for your time today, and if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. I'm always happy to chat on Twitter, Ash_Hitchock. Thank you.
Don't miss the live Q&A coming up now.